Yesterday was a difficult day. The energy was super heavy yesterday. And after having a couple conversations, I understand that it wasn't just me who was feeling some type of way yesterday. It was like a bunch of people who were in their feelings and really couldn't identify with what was wrong with them. And so that definitely made me feel better about me being all the way in my feelings and not knowing what the hell I was really mad for. Like, tell me why you mad, son. I don't know why I'm mad. And so I feel better today. I took my ass to sleep super early. And aside from going to bed super early, I was like mindful of my feelings and emotions and just made sure that I meditated the way that I needed to and really got grounded and centered within myself. Um, yeah. So today is Freaky Friday, and regardless of how I felt yesterday, I'm feeling frisky, feisty today. As far as news is concerned, there's a lot going on in the world, starting with so one of the problems that I've always had, right, is first and foremost the fact that everybody has an agenda. So feminists have an agenda, the homosexuals have an agenda, the like name it. Everybody has an agenda. Latinos have an agenda. Of course, white men have an agenda. But when it comes to like black people and black voices and black anything, like we never have an agenda. We're like, yo, those Air Force Ones were popping at the inauguration. Did you see Michelle Obama's weave? Like that's really what we cared about. And I am so disheartened that we were so excited about all of this stuff that really doesn't matter or does not save our life. So the National Women's Law Center analyzed the latest reports as far as jobs are concerned and how many jobs were lost in December. More than 1 in 12 Black women ages between 20 and over, which is 8.4%, and about 1 in 11 Latinas, which is 9.1%, remain unemployed. For Asian women 16 and over, the shared unemployment workers who had been out for 6 months or longer was 44%. And so there is a position now that feminists have as far as wanting the new president to do these things for women. And so to be clear, they went ahead and put a list together for what the new administration and Congress should do for women and girls is long, but they started with 6 things. So provided COVID relief, and just really pushing more direct assistance, paid leave, extended unemployment benefits. They must also support the small businesses, state and local governments, and child care providers. Vaccines must also be administered equitably and made accessible to the most hardest hit and most vulnerable communities. Which, like, let's go back to the conversation that we were having last week. And I'm just like, the first thing that we need to do is to open, like they opened Gillette Stadium back up and did like a whole caravan type situation. You come in, you get your ID checked, you get this information checked, how many people are in the vehicle, pat, 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 everybody gets sticked and you walk away. Now, for the people who want this vaccine, it should be made accessible. And they're saying that only 1/3 of the population want the vaccine. 1/3 of Americans are seeking the vaccine. So if that's like, if 1/3 of the Americans want the vaccine, shouldn't that be easier to go ahead and roll out a way that works to get people in? Why aren't CVS, Walgreens, you guys let them give people the flu vaccine? Why not open it back up and allow them to give the COVID vaccine? Of course, doctors' offices I don't think doctors' offices need to be inundated. I don't think hospitals need to be inundated. But like, it's something that you can train for. So it's a job creation, going back to the fact that 1 in 12 Black women ages 20 and over are unemployed. 1 in 11 Latinas is unemployed. And for Asian 16% and over, it's well over 44%. And so with that being said, if this is something that you can easily train someone to do, can you easily train someone to do these things? giving a shot. How many pharmacists, how many medical students do we have? How many people who are in the field that we can go ahead and give them a job real quick? How many nurses, traveling nurses, home health aides, CPNs, CNs, RN? Like, how many of these people that currently cannot work or don't have the over? So typically, if you work in like even the most minimum. So my mother is a patient care, a PCA, even though she's an RN right now, she is doing like home health type situations. But even the home health is like really scarce right now. So why not bring these type of people into the workforce, pay them, train them to get paid, and then open up like parks and recreation. Since they closed all the parks down, kids can't play. There aren't any games, football, baseball, soccer being played. Open that. Like, I just, again, the way my brain works, I'm like solution based. These are solutions that we could be working on. Why aren't these being rolled out? I digress. So ensuring fair wages, as far as like women wanting to push an agenda towards the administration, these are the 6 things that feminist groups are pushing the Biden administration to do. So first is ensuring that we go ahead and provide COVID relief, and not just like the financial aspect of it, but the actual stick of the needle as well. Ensuring fair wages. Even before the pandemic, the economy did not work for everyone. Stock prices may have been soaring, but that did not recently reflect the reality for many families whose costs are going up faster than their wages. Black and brown women in particular melanated women found themselves in a really like hard place as far as like low wages, being paid far less than men for similar jobs. We can go and address the fact that minimum wage is going to be $15 an hour. But when we take a look at $15 an hour, what is that? $36,000 a year. And at $36,000 a year, what are the one things that we complain about Bostonians? That 50% of Bostonians make under $30,000 a year. $30,000 is not a lot of money. You know, I recently filled out a rental lease for somebody who was paying $2,600 for the year. And the $2,600 times 12 came out to $31,200. Yo, mind you, this was a family of 4, 2-parent household with some kids, but they also had like a niece or a nephew or a cousin who was also working that was contributing to the bills. $31,200 just to live for rent. That's it. And so that's not taking into account everything else that you need in life in order to survive. That's not even like factoring food. And so if we're paying $15 an hour and somebody needs a 4-bedroom apartment, 4-bedroom apartments are well over $3,500 in Boston. So like when you take a look at what it is that we're actually offering people and saying like, oh, $15 an hour, you should be happy. No, we shouldn't be happy. People should not be happy. What we need to do is have a real conversation about why on earth have wages never increased, but the cost of living has steadily increased over the last 35 years. And so for those that are tuned in for Freaky Friday, we begin talking about sex at 12. So if you want to answer the question, I definitely will post that once we decide to start talking about sex at 12. And so third, for feminists want to push this administration to strengthen protections against workplace sexual harassment. For more than 15 years, we have been, the whole Me Too, last Congress Senator Patty Murray, representatives like Catherine Clark and Ayanna Pressley introduced the Be Heard Act, a groundbreaking and comprehensive bill to address and prevent all forms of harassment in the workplace. The bill will extend protections against harassment and other forms of discrimination to all workers, to promote transparency and accountability, and require and fund efforts to prevent workplace harassment and discrimination. And Congress must pass this bill. Restoring civil rights and protections for the survivors in school. The education, Betsy DeVoe, she's batshit crazy, was tearing down the protections for sexual harassment survivors in schools. In 2020, she announced the new Title 4 because X is 5. No, 9. Because X is 9. X is 10. The one prior to X is 9. And so for a new Title IX rule, among other things, that allows schools in many cases requires them to dismiss sexual harassment complaints if the student was sexually harassed in the wrong place. And so this was another thing that feminists are like, nope, yeah, we have to fix this. Protecting and expanding access to reproductive health, such as being able to have access to abortions. People have been having abortions before abortion clinics were open. We can either do it the safe way and have abortion clinics to be open to the public and allow women to make decisions. And when you take a look at any photograph regarding reproductive rights, there's one white woman and 17 white men. How are you without a reproductive system? Even Tupac said it. You have no right to choose what a woman does with her body is what a woman does with her body, period. Now, I do feel like women should have a conversation with men like, yo, we procreated together. I really don't want to go through with this. You don't want to go through this either. Just wanted to let you know we're going to keep this moving. But I do not believe that any man on earth should ever be the deciding factor whether or not a woman can or cannot engage. But this is another conversation for a whole nother day, because I do not believe that a woman should also have a child with it. Like, I think that we need to have another conversation on another day about how women have babies with men that don't want to have kids. And they had a conversation. He was like, yo, I'm not ready to have a kid right now. And she's like, but I want to have a kid. And he's like, I'm not ready. And then she puts him on child support and is like, come take care of your kid. And he's like, yo, B, I told you this is not what I wanted for my life. And so that these are completely separate conversations, but expanding access to reproductive health and specifically abortions is important. This is the feminist number 5. Passing universal child care. Oh my gosh. If it wasn't for child care, I would have 17,000 gray hairs and I probably would not be here today, because I could never work in child care. I could never be that one. Oh, like, children are hard. And they're harder today than they were before, because Anari and Asaria were a breeze. I was like, yo, sit down. And they were like, okay. This one is just, I'm like, sit down. He like, no. Actually, it'd be like, Mo. Mo. I don't want it. And so the system was strained even before the pandemic, though it was underfunded, that it only was able to serve 1 in 6 eligible children. They are hoping that they will go ahead and move forward to the Joe Kennedy. Is it Joe Kennedy? Oh, the Kennedy that we interviewed. So the Kennedy that we interviewed talked about how his wife wants childcare to be funded from like the day that they're born. Like, childcare education should be from the day that they're born, not the day like that they're 5 and they go to school. But we should be implementing education and childcare way off, like when the child is born. And so that I too thoroughly agree with, and we need to figure out how that would work. The next COVID relief package must provide at least $50 billion in stabilization funding for the childcare sector. And those are the demands of the feminist. And so in other news, Yemen crisis is linked to weapons maker Raytheon. I don't know if you know anything about a Raytheon, but let me give you a synopsis. First and foremost, they are the friend of a friend of a friend. Nepotism is so real. They got a huge contract during the Bush administration, and they have been terrorizing. They have been known, like the employees have been known to rape, steal, kill, all the things that they know how to do, and destroy. And they have been in the news a lot for a lot of negative things. They're damn near quasi-governmental, even though they're not. They're so entrenched in like earmarks. Earmarks are like, so the government has a bill. So the federal government has a bill. And on this bill, on this budget, Raytheon has like a forever bill. Like, I am earmarked. I will always get this money, this amount of dollars, or it may increase or it may decrease. And it's never decreased. It's always increasing. So they have been linked to influence on U.S. foreign policy. So since 2015, the U.S.-backed Saudi-led bombing and blockade of Yemen has killed tens of thousands of people and devastated the country, creating what the United Nations calls the worst humanitarian crisis of the world. But if you Google the worst humanitarian crisis of the world, it always has to do with something that the United States has their dirty little fingers in, and I'm sick and tired of it. Half of the country's people are on the brink of famine. The country has the world's worst cholera outbreak in recorded history. And now Yemen has one of the most very worst COVID death rates in the world that kills 1 in 4 people who test positive. People and organizations across the world are uniting and calling to an end of this genocidal war. On January 25th, the International Day of Action, President Joe Biden, who was a part of the Obama administration, which started U.S. support for the war, has vaguely promised to end the U.S. support for the war. However, Biden's promise should be viewed with extreme skepticism, of course. Weapons manufacturers like Raytheon have vested interest in continuing the war and wielding an immense amount of power in Washington. Like I just said, it's unlikely that the U.S. government will ever end any war ever, because so many politicians get their greasy, grimy hands filled with blood money, literally blood money, from not only companies like Raytheon, but other quasi-governmental earmarked weapons. Have you ever saw the movie Lord of War, God of War? What's his name? He got a really prominent chin. Y'all know the answer. God of War. Who was Lord of War, God of War? Basically, that breaks down for you what it looks like. Hey, good rising, good rising. That's what it looks like as far as like on a government level, or not what it looks like, how government interacts with weapons, and how there are like these weapons dealers that work under the radar and get paid bank, and we pay them to do it. Starting under the Obama and continue under Trump, the U.S. has been heavily involved in the war on Yemen, particularly through weapon sales to Saudi Arabia and its coalition partners. These weapons are, by and large, used to intentionally target and kill Yemenis. This bloodthirsty logic has been driving the force behind war for almost 6 years. Raytheon Technologies is the second largest arms manufacturer in the world, is one of the major provider of these weapons. It stands out from the rest of its competitors because of its close ties with Saudi Arabia, and have been the first weapons manufacturers to build a permanent operation there in the 1960s, hiring members of the Saudi royal family as consultants and opening a branch of the company in 2017. After the war began in March of 2015, Raytheon stock prices went from $108 to more than $180, reflecting billions of dollars in weapon sales to Saudi Arabia. Mind you, Saudi Arabia and Yemen are right next to each other. So how are you engaged in this war when you have vested interest in this war? Like, you should be so far removed. If I, Tayla Andre, have a vested interest in a property, like, I have to disclose that hey, as an agent, this person is my cousin and they're selling. Like, I have to acknowledge those things. And sometimes, depending on relationship, I might have to recluse myself from it. For instance, there's too much information, but problematically, this is a problem. This is a huge problem. And these are the type of stories that you're not going to see in mainstream media. These aren't the stories that you're going to learn about, that you're going to understand, for you to see how we interact with the rest of the world and how we as Americans have blood on our hands and we are completely oblivious to it. Your tax-paying dollars go ahead and fund Raytheon and the other trillions of dollars that we give to the war on war. And we love war because it's so profitable and it makes us so much money. And it doesn't really make us money, but it makes these huge companies monies. And then the lobbyists from these companies make sure that all of our politicians have their greasy hands all greased up and lackluster, all that. So the DOJ is investigating a resignation of a Georgia U.S. attorney after Trump's criticism. And so the Department of Justice is investigating the sudden resignation of a Georgia U.S. attorney who left his post immediately after then President Donald Trump complained about election fraud in the state. He is known as BJ because I think it's Byung J. Pak is how you pronounce his name, but he's known as BJ. He announced his resignation on January 4th and left his post the same day. His departure came after the state had flipped from red to blue and several recounts have been certified. Trump then passed over the next attorney in line as a replacement, which raised concerns. According to reports, he resigned the day after Trump called with Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Renningsberger and the infamous conversation in which Trump demanded that they find enough votes to change Georgia elections outcome. The call was widely seen as an abuse of power by the former commander-in-chief, who mentioned a never-Trumper U.S. attorney in the state, and it's looking like a criminal offense. And so I am going to follow the story because I just am a nerd and I want to know what's going on behind the scenes that they ain't really telling us. And so you got to pay attention to like little nuances, and they're not going to blatantly. We had the conversation about media on Wednesday, and media is not going to tell you what you need to hear. There's 6 people that control everything that you need to know. And so that's why this segment is called The News You Need to Know, because they ain't finna tell you not a damn thing ever. In other news, stock investors could reap a lot of money if Janet Yellen becomes the Treasurer Secretary. And so Janet Yellen, the President Joe Biden's choice for the U.S. Secretary, will help stock market achieve record highs this year. And this is predicted by the head of the world's largest independent financial consulting and advisory firms. The bullish prophecy just came from Nigel Green, the CEO and founder of DeVere Group, which has $12 billion under advisement. The bold forecast was made on the day of Biden's inauguration after Yellen's testimony in Congress ahead of her anticipated appointment. Yellen is the former chair of the Federal Reserves and the Federal Reserve, which is the national central bank. A banner stock market in 2021 could potentially be great for individual Black investors and Black-owned financial service firms such as asset managers that do business on Wall Street. So Green is not alone in his bullish stock market outlook on Yellen. Other experts who track such financial markets closely are echoing same sentiments. So we had our interview with Palmieri, and he gave us the link for us to, and I've opened it for those I opened all of my emails. I read my emails, and I even purchased stock. And one of the stocks that was in the newsletter is actually doing very, very well for me. I don't know why I just opened Cash App. Robinhood. So I use Robinhood in Stockpile. And one of the ones that he advised for us was Magnite. And I forgot what Magnite did or does, but Magnite has made me $142. And so shout out to Magnite, MGNI. He also, it's up 10.1% today. And that's why I made some money. And he also did Schnitzer Steel Industry. They're currently down 13%, but they made me some dividends already. Damn, I got some dividends coming. I like this game. Texas Hold'em. In Neo. So one of my good friends has advised me to invest in Neo, and Neo has been making me bank. So has BlackBerry. I don't know if you guys remember, but I told you a while back that I was doing some reading. And in the midst of me reading, I found that BlackBerry owns multiple patents. And aside from them owning multiple patents, one of the patents that they own is the only technology for security systems within self-driving vehicles. And so you better get you some BlackBerry, boo. because right now Blackberry's average is $7.42. And if you don't think for 5 seconds I'm just about to blow, we might not have self-driving vehicles now, but for them to own the only patent on the security for self-driving cars, trust and believe that $7.42 is going to be $742. And if you go ahead and jump in today, hold on, I want to be clear. I am not a stock. I know nothing about finances. I'm just telling you my personal opinion and what I read. I am completely wrong. Don't buy a damn thing. Do your due diligence. I just want to be clear. Ain't nobody coming for me because I ain't got it for y'all to try and come get it. So do your due diligence. Tayla Andre is not nobody. I'm telling you the decisions that I made for myself, and you could do your own thing based on what you find after you go ahead and do your homework. I just want to make that abundantly clear. Do you need me to say it again? Do you need me? Because I will. But what they are saying is futures on the Dow Jones Industrial Average increased 205 points or 0.7%. The S&P 500 futures jumped from 0.7%. And the futures on the NASDAQ also climbed 0.8%. And they're saying that, this new administration is going to continue to make us money. And so, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give you the link so you guys could have access to Palmieri's, what's the thing called? His predictions. And so that's really what it is. It's just different predictions that Palmieri believes is going to be the next stock that is going to jump, the stock that's going to make money. And so I am going to send this to you so you can... Yes. So you can go ahead and do what you need to do. And what I'm sending you is a link for you to sign up for the $25 a month newsletter. So you get a newsletter every week, but you pay $25 for the month to get insider hold on, I don't know if insider is the word that I should be using because it's not insider trading type situation, but this is what he does. Desirable equity consultants do this for a living. And so it's just like, this is the company, this is what they do, this is how much they profit. Keep a lookout for it. If it resonates with you, then you purchase the stock that you want to buy. If it doesn't resonate, you leave it where it's at. So we're going to go ahead and pay these bills, and when we come back, I will go ahead and say it again and again. So those that are listening, you guys can write it down, or you can head over to YouTube and watch the rewatch. But we're going to pay these bills, and when we come back, you guys will have full access to that link so you can go ahead and do your due diligence and find what is going to work best for you as far as all of these companies. And I think there's like 6 companies per newsletter that you can work out and figure out what works best for you as far as stock is concerned, whether you have $25 or $25,000. I am Tayla Andre. You are tuned in to Spark FM Online. Everything Tayla Andre, TaylaAndre.com.
Igniting the airwaves. Spark FM.
Paid family and medical leave is here. And if you're an employee in Massachusetts, you probably have questions. How does PFML work? When can I start using my benefits? How do I apply? Is PFML really for me? There is one place to find your answer. mass.gov/PFML. It's time to get to know paid family and medical leave. A message from the Massachusetts Department of Family and Medical Leave.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Tayla Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Tayla makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Tayla is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLA ANDRE@thumbprintrealty.com.
Igniting the airwaves. Spark FM.
Things may seem a little bit different now, but your health remains a priority. With the Massachusetts Health Connector, you can stay happy and healthy. Whether you're employed or have recently lost your job, you have options to stay insured. Visit mahealthconnector.org to compare health insurance plans and choose the one that's right for you and your family. Open enrollment ends on January 23rd. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL. That's 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Tayla Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Tayla makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Tayla is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLA@thumbprintrealty.com.
Let's start with the big question.
The all-new Spark FM.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. And so what I was able to find was going back to the conversation that we were just having prior to our break. We were discussing whether or not, well, it was predicted that we are going to have a bullish stock market, which means we finna make some money. Nigel Green, the CEO and founder of DeVere Group, which has a $12 billion under advisement, which means that they have $12 billion of other people's money that they watch over and make money for, right? And so that is a lot of money to be handling, and they are one of the largest independent financial consulting and advisory firms. And so we were taking a look at some of the stocks that Palmieri has told us to look at. And so what I have posted here is the Gumroad. So you can go ahead and log in to Gumroad. And can somebody please confirm that the link works? Click the link. If you can click the link on Facebook, click the link on YouTube, click the link on Periscope, and let me know if that works. For those that are currently listening and are not driving, I would like to be clear. I want you to be safe and not sorry. And so you can always rewatch if you're currently on the road. If you are not, it's gumroad.com/A/1024 85 72 3. So I'm going to give that number to you un más, okay? 10 24 85 72 03. And so it's gumroad.com, like the gum you chew, the road you drive on, gumroad.com/A/10 24 85 72 03. And so click the link. Let me know if it works for you. If it doesn't, you know I'm dyslexic. I could have done a number wrong or some nonsense like that. But I will give you the correct number in the form of a copy paste that he sent to me. And so moving on to other news so we can hurry up and get to Freaky Friday and talk about some buddy and a pum pum. Buddy and a pum pum. So you guys know I do not do like love, hip hop, Real Housewives. Y'all know I don't do none of that, right? Like I've never watched an episode. And if I seen anything, it was something on social media and I passed right through it. But one of these reports, I want to have a real conversation, and maybe it's not today's topic, but I do want to have this topic another day. So a woman named Portia Williams, you guys probably know her better than I do. I definitely don't know who she is. Whatever. But Portia Williams is getting a lot of backlash on social media because she said that she picked her child's father. And people are like, yo, who does that? I want to have a conversation about, are you not supposed to pick? And she's like, listen, I had to make sure that he had his own place. He wasn't living with his mama. I wanted to make sure that he had a vehicle. I didn't have to go pick his ass up. Jody didn't have to borrow my car. I wanted to make sure that he had an education. So education was important to him. I wanted to make sure that he had some type of financial stability so that not everything fell on me. And people are talking about some real life criticizing her because she said that she picked her baby father. And I think that's crazy because a lot of y'all out here talking about your nothing ass baby daddy. And if you would have picked him, you wouldn't be complaining because you would have known that he was a mama's boy. You would have known he was no good. You would have known that he didn't have no money to begin with. You would have known he still lived with his parents. These are certain things that you would have known had you intentionally picked the baby father that you wanted to be with. So let me be clear. For 17 whole years, for 15 whole years, I had one children's father, and I actually did pick him. Absolutely. So at 17 years old, we met, and being 17, I was a little ass girl. I was a little ass girl up until 33. I'm still a little ass girl in a lot of respects, right? I can be honest. I can own my own. And so we've had multiple conversations. When we were in a relationship, Javison and I spoke about how do you want to raise children? What do you think is acceptable discipline? How do you feel about this? And what do you think about that? And education and da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And so we've had many, many, many conversations before Nari was even conceived. We had conversations about how we personally were raised. This has to be by far the most advanced relationship that I had. And even though I was young as hell, my as adult relationships are absolutely bat-ish crazy. But my little girl relationship was dope. So we had a lot of the conversations that today when Javison and I talk about the children, he's like, yo, Tayla, we talked about this. You might have been 20 years old, but we talked about this. I was just like, you know what? You're right. And so I think it is important for you to choose the person that you want to have children with. You want to choose, for some people, a nuclear family isn't important, or just a nuclear family is important. Listen, I lived with over 15 cousins at one point in time. Understanding that we may have some people that might slide through the house and sleep on a couch. I need to know that you're okay with what my idea of family is. I need to know that you're okay with, so there's some people that do not let their children sleep anywhere. Kids don't spend the night nowhere. Hey, Bill, I'm trying not to mention my eyebrows. This is the darkest they're going to get. And now they're going to start they have reached their pinnacle of darkness. And now they're going to start getting lighter and more natural. Y'all know I'm real, my heart hurt about these damn eyebrow situation. I'm I should have never did it. I should have never gave y'all permission. But as far as children are concerned, I do think that you should pick the person that you want to procreate with. And for people to criticize this woman for wanting to pick the person that is going to, be in her life for a minimum of 18 years is crazy. What type of baby mama, baby daddy are you that you're not looking at the bigger picture of why it's important for you to choose someone to procreate with? And what type of situation would you not be in if you chose the right person? And so as far as Baby Rain's daddy is concerned, he is an amazing father. And so, yeah, technically I picked him too. But I feel like Anari and Asaria were a little bit more like planned. And Baby Rain was just like, oops, there it goes, another bout. And so, but I did understand like who Baby Rain's daddy was as far as being a father, as far as being a provider, as far as like what does family mean. And these are important in procreation. How do you feel about homeschooling? How do you feel like there's certain questions, and that's going to be next Freaky Friday. Like, what questions do you need to ask somebody before you engage in a relationship? Because your favorite color and do you know what position I like you can't do that no more. I was having a conversation with my homegirl the other day, and she was like, listen, I had a friend of mine who used to go on dates, and she would have a whole resume worth of questions before she would even agree to another date. And I used to think she was crazy, but now I think that this is why she's single, because there's a criteria that she's looking for. And if you don't meet that criteria, then you know what? Oops, there it goes. On to the next. And so I do want to get through a lot of these stories because I spent a lot of time on the first 4. So let's rush through these really quickly. Just in case you didn't know, Flint still has dirty water. People still can't take a bath properly. People are still drinking out of bottles. People are still cracking open bottles in order to boil water, to have pasta, and to eat regular life. So can you please take 5 seconds out of your day and thank God that you have running water, even though Boston just came up as having lead in our pipes. And I want to know where the lead at, because I bet you it's not in South Boston. I bet you it's not in Southie. I bet you it's not in Jamaica Plain. I bet you it's not in West Roxbury, but it could be. But just in case you didn't know, Flint is still got dirty water. Politicians still getting paid. Ain't nobody's paycheck stopped, but yet children still have lead in their blood. And as you know, which is crazy to me because Massachusetts is one of the states, well, federally, in 1976. I could have done that on here, huh? And this is why I be spending so much time on individual stories, because I want to go down freaking rabbit holes and everything else. Lead paint. And as a real estate agent, I should have known if it was 1978 or 1976. It's 1976. So lead was abolished from paint in 1976. And so no house should ever, anything after, it wasn't until 7 years later in 1977 that the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission finally banned the use of lead paint completely in residential and public properties. And so just to be clear, how in the hell do we allow lead in the water for an entire city to like brain damage, deficiencies and like health deficiencies? It stunts growth. It lowers IQ because the lead doesn't allow the neurons to shoot the way that they're supposed to. And so you end up with a lower IQ because your brain can't do what it needs to do in order to function. You're not able to absorb nutrients correctly because the lead is blocking your body from it's horrible. We know it's horrible. We haven't been able to use it in paint. Just paint, my dude. 1976, under the Hazard Protection Act, we stopped using lead in paint, but we have an entire effing city that is still drinking lead water. It's still orange. So in case you didn't know that, now you know. And knowing's half the battle. What are you going to do about it? Nothing, because they still ain't done ish about it now. Bob Marley's granddaughter's viral Airbnb racial profiling incident inspires the Sundance Bounce short film of Black bodies. And so I wanted to play this trailer really quickly for you.
There's a vibe. That draws me to the black sometimes. It makes me sit upright. There's a vibe. That draws me to the black sometimes. It makes me sit upright.
Confrontation in Soho. 22-year-old Mia Ponsetto was seen in handcuffs today after being extradited here from California. She's been charged with endangering the welfare of a child, attempted robbery,
just on the heels of a new report on rising sea levels that predicts Antarctica's melting ice sheet will force millions of American refugees to
last month, Ponsetto wrongly accused a black teenager of stealing her cell phone and then attacked him and his father in the lobby of the Arlo Hotel. Ponsetto's lawyer says her client is, quote, emotionally unwell and remorseful.
America in the world. America. Got up this morning, the news was insane. Came tuning out, Lord, I'm praying in vain. Sick dying cause the law ain't trying. Got grandmamas marching like it's 68.
An update now on that hotel confrontation in Soho. 22-year-old Mia Ponsetto was seen in handcuffs today after being...
So, in other news, Shaq takes on a new job in Atlanta with the sheriff's office. And of course, he is a Los Angeles Lakers legend. Shaquille O'Neal has taken on a new role. According to reports, the sheriff's office of Georgia announced on January 21st that Shaq was an office director of community relations. Sheriff Reginald Scandrett said that Shaq's role would help bridge the gap between community and law enforcement. It's unclear what specific duties Shaq will take on. Over the years, he has been actively helping residents, which is not new to who Shaq is. In 2019, Shaquille O'Neal found a new home for Allison Woods, the mother of Isaiah Payton, who was shot and paralyzed leaving high school football game in Atlanta. And aside from that, the same year, the former NBA athlete helped buy 10 pairs of size 18 shoes for Georgia teen Zach Keith, a 6'2" middle school basketball player. In 2005, Shaquille O'Neal was sworn in as a reserve officer with Miami Beach, earning an annual salary of $1. In 2014, he applied to be an officer with Doral, Florida Department. And so shout out to Shaq and all of his endeavors. We have to give kudos when kudos is due. And I think maybe he always wanted to be a police officer, but his height and his weight, he was just like, I'm going to just do this basketball thing. And now that he's done, he can, like Michael Jordan was like, let me play baseball real quick. And just did it. Elon Musk on Thursday took to Twitter and promised a $100 million prize for development of the best technology to capture carbon dioxide emissions. He said more details would be coming in the next week. And I am excited to see what this takes place. I want him to give $100 million to all of the damn cars that broke down. How about that? How about you say you're going to receive all of the callbacks and fix the vehicles that you sold? How about that? Newly sworn in United States President Joe Biden has pledged to accelerate the development of carbon capture technology as part of his sweeping plan to tackle climate change. On Thursday, he named Jennifer Wilcox as the expert in carbon removal technologies as the principal deputy assistant secretary for fossil energy in U.S. Department of Energy. So if I could take 5 seconds, you guys understand to me how important nature is, as well as technology. And so I would have to say that I am really hopeful that under this administration, we are going to see less fossil fuels, more natural resources being used as energy. And I am hoping that nobody's greasy little hands are going to be slicked off with some cash, and we can actually see real change when it comes to our environment. I would really like to see, as far as like best carbon capture technology, I would really like to see hemp be used. So for those who don't know, Chernobyl, they went ahead and planted hemp around Chernobyl. And when they went back, I don't know if you've seen recent, so Chernobyl is where the nuclear reactor exploded. And they were like, we can't go there for 10,000 years. It's going to be horrid. So they recently sent a drone out there because humans can't go because of the radioactiveness of the landscape. But the drone that went to Chernobyl, like there's plants growing and trees growing and deer and mountain lions. Like there's mad life. In one of the studies, they went ahead and had hemp planted and noticed that the hemp in the area, the radioactiveness of the area due to the hemp sucking up all that radioactive was like tons and tons lower than what it would have been if the hemp wasn't there. And so the many, many uses of hemp is still beyond our wildest imagination. And, you know, being a little bit of a fiend, I'm like, yo, what that weed smoke like though? Like imagine smoking, imagine smoking radioactive. What you smoking on radioactive? What you smoking on Chernobyl? That's what I want to see. I want to see if that's a real thing. Anybody down to see how that's a real thing? No, just me? Okay, whatever. In other news, 2 missing siblings were found in Alabama after being taken from a foster home in New York. So remember I told you like little nuances? I want to follow this story because a 5-year-old and his 3-year-old sister were in pajamas when 2 people in ski masks forcibly snatched them on Tuesday. Both of the children were later found in Alabama unharmed. According to reports, they were able to track down blood evidence. So your dumb ass got caught because you got cut. But the vehicle was located outside of a residence. They said that they wanted to have a conversation with the children's father, but there's little to no like information outside of 2 men broke into the home, walked up to the home, waking up the homeowner and 2 of the 7 foster children. Those 2 kids ran downstairs when they heard the foster mother scream. They got duct taped. The foster mother got duct taped. I got questions because first and foremost, you got a brother and a sister that was kidnapped. So it's most likely the parents or somebody in the relatives of the children trying to take the kids back to their parents. And if you do not know, having children abducted from parent, like let's say for instance, Tayla smokes weed, all of a sudden baby Rain gets kidnapped by the state and goes into a foster home. The foster home system is absolutely insane. If y'all really want to go down the slippery, so y'all want to go down that rabbit hole, we can do it on another day of how the foster parents get paid so much money to take on these kids. A lot of the kids are being abused. A lot of the kids are being sexually assaulted. A lot of these kids are not being cared for like they should be cared for. And people are just collecting the check and having kids in cages. Aside from that, there are so many parents that had their rights taken away because the state gets paid. And just like, so Social Security, 4D. We had an entire like week-long show about this in the past, and we can definitely do it again, about how child support the federal child support gets 40 cents for every dollar, or is it 60 cents for every dollar? Let me do my due diligence. I'll circle back with you on that. So for every dollar that I hate my baby father, I'm putting him on child support. For every dollar that you put him on child support for, so you end up getting $100 a week. The state ends up getting either $40 or $60 for your for your every $100 because your dumb ass put them on child support. The state wants you to put your baby daddy on child support. That's why if you sign up for any social service, you sign up for food stamps, you sign up for cash benefits, you sign up for this, you sign up for that, they're like, yo, put your baby father on child support. We'll get the money out of him. No, it really ain't got nothing to do with you and making sure that your child has what you need, but it has everything to do with every single dollar that they get. It's either 40 cents or 60 cents that the state is given by the federal government. Baby girl, if you can sit down and pick your baby daddy, if you can actually have a conversation with your baby father and not put that man on child support, that is your best bet. Ooh. Really quickly, we have 2 minutes. Georgia Democrats filed legislation to reinstate voting rights to felons, which is super important because in many states, felons cannot vote. So even after you did your time, even after, maybe you even freaking innocent, but you did your time, you came out of jail, because you're a felon, you still can't vote. Who do you think that affects? Exactly. And so Georgia Democrats are filing legislation because finally it's a blue state. It's a blue state. And so if we can continue this across the United States, we can actually get some real things done. A white woman sues Georgia schools for discrimination after being transferred for defending her son's racist remarks. And so her son's a racist, she's a racist, they're both racist. And they're like, oh my God, why would you transfer us? That's discrimination. No, what was discrimination was what came out of your son's mouth and you co-signing it. And so I want to see what's going to happen. I will follow the story. I want to get to Freaky Friday. We have 1 minute left. Okay, so the NYPD commissioner says that anti-racist protesters at MLK March that turned violent were trying to destroy our way of life. That New York Attorney General James said less than a week after I filed a lawsuit against the NYPD for using excessive force against peaceful protesters. Last night, we saw officers exhibit the same concerning behavior. As we laid out in our lawsuit, this long-standing pattern of abuse must stop. New Yorkers were marching in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King, who taught us that peaceful protest is the most powerful force in the fight for freedom, equality, and justice for all. I will continue to fight to protect this most basic right. And that was from the New York Attorney General James. And so we are going to continue to follow this because I don't understand. And they're saying, everyone is saying, like, the 29 people that were arrested by the NYPD said it was the NYPD that was being aggressive. It was the NYPD that started the riots. That everybody was a peaceful protester until these MFs came and started, like, pushing people, hitting people, and doing all types of nonsense. There are 135 civil rights organizations opposed to the new domestic terrorist charge. And so I am going to share this with you. We're going to go pay these bills. And when we come back, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Wait a minute. Y'all know it? I don't know the rest of the language.
The People Station. What is that? Spark FM.
Paid family and medical leave is here. And if you're an employee in Massachusetts, you probably have questions. How does PFML work? When can I start using my benefits? How do I apply? Is PFML really for me? There is one place to find your answer. mass.gov/PFML. It's time to get to know paid family and medical leave. A message from the Massachusetts Department of Family and Medical Leave.
Things may seem a little bit different now, but your health remains a priority. With the Massachusetts Health Connector, you can stay happy and healthy. Whether you're employed or have recently lost your job, you have options to stay insured. Visit mahealthconnector.org to compare health insurance plans and choose the one that's right for you and your family. Open enrollment ends on January 23rd. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL. That's 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Tayla Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Tayla makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Tayla is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLAANDRE@thumbprintrealty.com.
You are enjoying the miracle of radio.
New England's music. Radio. Spark FM.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up at about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I have a question. Y'all gonna answer my questions? I want to know, how often do you have sex? Come on, tell me. You can tell me. I won't tell nobody. I won't tell nobody. How often do you have sex? Sometimes, once in a while, all the time. How often do you do the do? The Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump. Do me, baby. How many times do you have sex? In a day? In a week? In a month? In the year? In the last 12 months, I can count. I truly can. I absolutely, truly can. I can recall every single time in my mind. Every time. And so I went ahead and I asked Facebook, how many times do you have sex? How often are you supposed to have sex? How often do you think you're supposed to have sex? And do people in relationship have sex more often or less often? Who has sex the most? Who has sex the least? These are real questions. Tell me what you want. How many times a day do you have sex? How many times a week do you have sex? What is the normal time, or the normal amount of times an adult should bust a nut? How about, we don't even have to say sex. I want to switch this. Can we change this? I want to change this to how often do you, can I say bust? Just B-U-S-S, bust a nut. I know it's bust, B-U-S-T, but still, I want to do bust. How many times do you bust a nut? In a week, in a month? How often do you bust a nut? Because I already know that I am not where I'm supposed to be in life. I know that to be true. But I want to know where everybody else is at so I can get my numbers up. Less? What do you mean less? What is less? Tell me how many. Tell me the number. What's the number? How many times do you bust a nut? You know who's going to be on here? Where them folks at? Them folks on tag. Them folks on tag a different breed. They coming in like, I thought Periscope was going to be the nasty ones. These are the nasty ones right here. I wish to continue. Okay, no nudity. How many times do you bust a nut a month? We'll do a month because we're kind of like grown people, right? And when I was younger, now if we having a conversation about when you were little, if we having a conversation about when you was a teenager, if we having a conversation like in my 20s, that's a completely different number than as, you know, a whole adult with a whole business, with a whole entrepreneurship, with some kids and everything else. When you little, you could bust a nut as much as you want. How many times, this one said, how many times did you bit a nut? How many times do you bust a nut? What is the number that I should be striving for? How many times do you have sex? Oh yeah, so I asked this question mañana last night for Freaky Friday, and I actually got a phone call. So the first person to answer this question called me and said, Tayla, I am 52 years old and I have not had sex in 2.5 years. And so with this individual calling me, telling me that they haven't had sex in 2.5 years, it made me think about the conversation about like holding your sperm. Because remember, I don't know if you guys remember the conversation that we had about saving your ejaculations and not like that is creative energy. And if you hold in your creative energy, you can then use it for other things. But if you're forever busting a nut, you're giving away that energy and you're not actually using it the way that you should be. And so, one of the things that I have found personally is when I do not engage in sexual activity, I have absolutely no need for it, no want for it. I'm good. Like I'm not, what's that thing called? Like when you have, like I'm not fiending for it. I don't have urges for it. I don't need sex. But the minute I get me some sex, I need some more immediately. Like I immediately want more, all of it. More, please. Again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And then when, hey, good rising. Then like as far as like how many nuts do you bust in a month? That also is like, do you bust multiple nuts in a month? As a man gets older, so I remember being young and it was just like nut, start over right now, all over again. But as men get older, can they no longer do that? Is it only like a one and done type situation? Or can men like continuously perform over and over and over again? I feel like women can perform over and over and over again, but can men, as you get older, do you stop being able to perform like you once did? Does age determine your performance? So once upon a time when you were younger, could you bust multiple nuts in a row? And now as like a 40-something, 50-something year old, you can only bust one and then you're finished for the evening. Like how does that work for you? So how often do you have sex and whether or not are you in a relationship? So how often do you have sex and I want to see the correlation between whether or not you have sex often or not often and whether or not you're in a relationship. But I also want to ask for people who are not in relationships, who are just like, single people who just bust nuts by themselves. So I don't want to exclude nobody. So if you in a relationship, how often do you and boo have sex? If you're not in a relationship, how often do you have sex with your damn self? Because how many times I've had sex throughout the last 12 months is completely different from how many times is Tayla engaged with Tayla. Those are two different conversations. Those are two different numbers. And so even though one can most likely be counted on one hand and the other one is that number's non-existent. We don't know that number. But for the longest time, when I wasn't having sex, I didn't fiend for it. I didn't want it. I wasn't even thinking about sex. The only time I was thinking about sex is when it was just like, what's the Freaky Friday topic? Because I definitely wasn't freaky on no days, never mind on Friday. I'd be feeling frisky though, like, okay, I would like, but so Carl Henderson said he has sex 6 days a week, and he didn't answer whether or not he was in a relationship. But I know, Carl, that you got a boo, aka a wife. So shout out to your wife. 6 days a week. What do you, as far as lightweight is concerned? So shout out to those that are on tagged. I want to tag you it. I want to know how many times a day. I mean, no, I wish it was a day. How many times do you engage in sex? How often can you, like, for men, how many times can you nut in one session? How many times do you need sex in a week? Is that like a question that you ask while dating? Like, are you sexually active to the point like I need it? I need it every day. I need it twice a day. I need it 3 times a day. If I don't get it, I get cranky. I want to know. DB said that all we need is a hand. Dot T said, are you a lightweight or are you asking if I'm a lightweight? Because I'm not a lightweight at all. I'm still waiting for watching in Ghana. Oh, blessings, blessings, blessings. We got Ghana in the building. I feel amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I am not a lightweight. Well, technically, I'm not a lightweight, right? So as far as sex is concerned, I just, if I'm not engaged in a sexual relationship, then I don't need it. I don't fiend for it. I don't want it because it's not something that I'm doing. So when I was younger, I had no idea, like, how is it that people just go months and years and I ain't had sex in 3 years? I'm like, yo, how you go 3 years without nothing? And for me, mentally, it's not even just like 3 years without sex. Because does that mean you have 3 years without intimacy? 3 years without no cuddlement? 3 years without somebody like rubbing their hands through your hair, scratching your back, rubbing your back, kissing your forehead? Like 3 years of that? I don't think I could do 3 years of no forehead kisses. I know for a fact that I can't do no 3 years without forehead kisses. I don't like the fact that it's been over 6 months without a damn forehead. Like, I like forehead kisses a lot. I don't know. Carl Henderson says 6 days a week. 6 days a week. Could y'all do that, women? If your man said he needed sex 6 days a week, could you do it? Is that too much? Are you right in line with him? Y'all vibing? That's exactly what it should be. Jerome Dennis, where Uncle Jerome at? Uncle Jerome said, whenever I can scrape up some money. And he said, I'm married. I don't understand that one. You have to pay your wife to have sex with you? Or every time you pay them bills, you get some sex? I'm trying to understand. Women, do you hold sex against your significant other? So if you wanted your car clean and your car wasn't clean, do you like, I'm not giving you no pum-pum. You even wash the car. The dishes ain't even done. You want pum-pum? I want clean dishes. Do you withhold pum-pum? Do men withhold penis? I don't know if men withhold. Is that even a thing for a man to withhold penis? Oh, somebody say yes. Yes, men do withhold penis. What do men withhold penis for? I want to know this. What's one of the reasons you withhold penis? This is interesting. Steve Wilson said he can't even remember the last time he had sex. And that goes back to, like, as far as I'm concerned, I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you when's the last time. And I'm all right. I'm all right when she turns the game off. Oh, you withhold sex when she turns the game off. Two can play that game. That's what you're saying? When she turns a football game off, or when you talking about some video games? Because I'm going to turn off a damn video game. All this energy you putting into a video game, you could have put that into a business plan. You could have put that into some stock options. What do you mean? You playing video games? Video games ain't sexy for me. That is not where it's at. I can't stand a damn video game situation. You talking about a football game, a basketball game. She's turning off a game. Like, you can't watch the replay. Don't TV rewind? Can't you rewind TV? What? I come home at 7 from 8-hour shift. I just want to play video games. Okay. Does your wife play does your boo play video games? If she want to hold the goods over something, I can do the same. Okay, King X. DB said that he come home at 7 p.m. after an 8-hour shift and he want to play the damn game. He said, I'm going to play the damn game. Daria said pre or post baby. Listen, when I was pregnant, I needed sex 18 times a day while pregnant, and not just sex 18 times a day, like buddy, 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 and a boom, boom, buddy, 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 and a boom, boom. I needed it. I wanted it. I could not have enough sex during Anari's pregnancy, Asaria's pregnancy, Rain's pregnancy. Like when it comes to pregnancy, that pregnancy pum pum is a whole different vibe. Like we can have that conversation at a later date, but that's a whole all them damn hormones. And then after the baby, I still very much wanted some after the baby as well. Daria said it's a huge difference. Like pre and post baby are two different. Daniance said none and no. She is not in a relationship. She has not had any sex, and she hasn't had any since early 2020. Wow. Paula said that she's in a long-term relationship and has sex about once or twice a week. Is that typical of people living in people in relationships to have sex once or twice a week? Is that typical? Like that's the vibe? Domingo said, "What's sex? What is that? What is this thing that you're speaking of?" DB said he playing the game. D-boy voice. In D-boy voice, what wife? What wife? What chain? Nothing better than that pregnancy pum pum. I always wanted to have sex with my girlfriend unless she's menstruating or she has to travel. But when she's around, it's like, hey. But you know what? When you're menstruating, you can't get pregnant. You can shoot up the club and not get pregnant. If there's blood on the walls, there's no one getting pregnant. Yo, y'all want to have a real conversation? Who have sex during menstrual cycles? Who have sex with blood on the walls? I want all these grown men to tell me they ain't never had sex and a girl was on her period. Please. I'm waiting. Hey, thank you. I got a castle in the sky. Thank you. I want to know. Have a real conversation. Be a grown up. What Jay-Z say? Have an affair. Act like an adult for once. Tell the damn truth. Tell King X said that he's done it, but he's not a fan. Why you ain't a fan? Shooting up the club with blood on the walls. I don't know how I just came up with this. He said it's just sticky at the end. I don't think it's sticky. What do you mean? Okay. Yo, just get you a red towel, and you know what the red towel's for. Typically, that's really shower type engagements. So it's not sticky at all. You don't have no problem. He said it's not my cup of tea. It's just not my thing to do. Blood on the walls. Do you have sex with blood on the walls during her menstrual cycle? Have you had sex while on your menstrual cycle? What's crazy is right before your period hits, that's when horniness is through the roof. And then during your period, horniness is through the roof. So it's weird to me that God would create this time during your monthly cycle where your body and your hormones crave sex. Why would you make me crave sex during my period knowing that a man does not want to have sex during a period? Why would you do those things? I'm interested in it. Can you please explain to me why you would set my body up like this? Why do I want sex during the time that nobody want to have sex? My belly was stuck to her butt. Dry blood was everywhere. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I love this love. I love how much y'all love me. Hugs. I want to know. Sergio said before children, he was having sex 24 to 28 times a month which is typically like once a damn day. It sounds like he was having sex 6 days a week, if sometimes 7. And after children, 5 times a month or less. Michael said 6 days a week for 3 weeks, and then we don't have no sex during that 3rd week. But that goes like, if we're having a real conversation, y'all don't have sex on your periods? Ain't nobody had sex while bleeding. Ain't nobody engaged in sex while blood. Wait, with a BBW or a slim 5 foot. It doesn't matter how big she is, how little she is, how tall she is, how small she is. None of that matters. Height don't matter. Weight don't matter. If she bleeding, she bleeding. What anything else matter? How does anything else matter? If she's bleeding, she's bleeding. Ain't nobody had sex while periods? We just gone, it's okay. It's okay. Skedaddle said, that is disgusting, Tayla. Why would you I'm disgusted by you even saying that. I don't even want to watch no more. I'm so disgusted. This is real life. This is absolutely real life. Because if you shoot up the club while there's blood on the wall, ain't nobody getting pregnant. So DB said, you ain't sleeping with a BBW 11 times a night. Why not? BBW's get it in. I'm considered a BBW. We get it in. What are you saying, DB? And so for those who are listening or for those who are watching, so we got multiple streams going on right now. We got YouTube, we got Facebook, we got Periscope, and we got a Clubhouse type situation, but it's called Tagurate. And so on Tag, they going all the way in. He said, you ain't effing a BBW 11 times a night. It don't have to be 11 times a night, but you can't get it in with a BBW 3 times? You can't hit off a BBW 3 times? You trying to say the pum-pum so good from a BBW? Oh, he said that a BBW put him to sleep. It's that Foompa juice. That's what that Foompa's a different story. Shout out to all the flat tummy women. Muhammad said, Remy Ra. I wish I had a translation because I want to know what this means. Gerald said 3 days a week with the same consistent partners, and he is single. Hold on, because I have a host of questions for you. So, Gerald, where are you? I need Gerald to pop up. Can we at Gerald? I have questions. Gerald. So as far as your relationship is concerned, he has sex 3 times a week with the same consistent partners. So are you having sex 3 times a week with 3 different women? Do all 3 of them know about each other? That's my question. Do all these 3 women that you're sleeping with once a week, do they know about one another? Abraham Bay said 7 days a week I have 5 wives. I have questions for you too. Can you come back? Come back. I have questions. Oh, shoot. You know what? I was thinking about this the other day. I have questions. All right. So I was thinking about this the other day. BD said BBWs put him to sleep because it's a lot of heavy lifting. Yes. So what time is it? We got to pay some bills. We certainly do in about 4 minutes. So I am Tayla Andre. You are tuned in to Wake Up with Tayla Andre Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have Motivational Monday through Freaky Friday. I am a whole person. I am a whole human. And so on Monday, we go through the motivation. We talk about politics, news, conspiracies, interviews, all that good stuff. And then on Friday, we talk about sex. Why? Because I'm not going to pretend like I'm not a whole human being, like I'm not a whole woman, and I only have one aspect to me. Just like I need to be motivated, I need to be tintillated. I don't know if that's a word, but I like a whole person. And so we talk about everything all of the time. Domingo, yes, he came back. Okay, shoot. Gerald, are you watching the show? I need Gerald to pay attention to the show. I want him to I need him to climb in real quick. Because Gerald over here talking about he have sex 3 days a week with consistent partners. Do they know about each other? How many partners? And how many times per partner? How many times per partner? What, y'all don't have no questions? Hell nah. He said, Akil, you don't do red lights? Akil, I think you lying. I think you lying, Akil. You don't do red lights at all? No red lights? Flashing lights. So there's a lot of dudes on here that said that, nope, they ain't never had sex with. So is that like a married type situation? Like if you're in a long-term relationship, you've had sex with somebody while they were on their period? Thank you. I receive all of my flowers. Akil, you said never. You've never, ever had sex with blood on the walls. Ever. Knowingly. My question is, how many times do you, the program host, have sex in a week? Listen, I can tell you how many times I've had sex this year. It's under 10. 6, maybe 6 times this entire year. And I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't crave for it. I'm good. On sheets, towels, and blankets in the hotel. You got to do what you got to do. Just put a towel down. You'll be all right. You'll be fine. Just do it in the shower. Just try it one time in the shower. But at the same time, I don't think it's something like if you and somebody are just now talking, y'all aren't really in a relationship. I don't think that shooting up the club with blood on the walls is a thing for you. I think it's something that's done when you guys are like super comfortable with each other. And she's like, listen, like I'm on my cycle, but I am ready, set. Can we please go? And then it's just like, well, I really don't feel comfortable, but I'm horny as hell. And it's just like, well, can we just do it in the shower real quick? And it's just like, fine. In my head, that's how it plays out. In my head, that's the way it plays out. They kicked me off. I accept. We're about to go live again. Fine. Oh, they banned me. They temporarily banned me for code of conduct. Oh, well. Oops. Our mutual friend lives by it. We should get him in here. You think he gonna admit it? Yo, tell him to come in. Tell him to come through. You should come through every time they call you. Yo, let me see if he gonna answer. I want to see if he gonna tell the truth. We ain't finna call because, is he sleep? Because you know he be sleep at this time. He don't wake up until 3. I want to see. Do you shoot up the club when there's blood on the walls? AKA, do you have sex when a girl's on her period? Question mark. Tell him to answer his phone. With a man, I put a towel down. With a woman, I put a tampon in. Can we just let that one marinate? Pun intended. Oh, shoot. Nah, he's up. I just texted him. I'm waiting for him to text me back, Akil. We're going to see what he say. I have once, but it's not my thing, so I will do it again. Period sex is just not fun. It's just not full on. Period sex is just not full on. Oh, so you mean like in the beginning or towards the end when it's like kind of like spotty and not just shooting up the club type situation? Once a week, maybe twice a week for sex. And so the original question was, I don't know how we even got on to like shooting up the club with blood on the walls. But the initial question is, how often do you have sex? And so Gerald came back and he said, I schedule a date night with each woman every week. It's like that since COVID started. Yes, they are not the only women I see, which is why scheduling time for dates is important. So I was thinking about this the other day because there are 6 women for every man. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of old and I don't want to be alone forever. Maybe polygamy is for me. And I was just like, no, this shit is not. I am not a sharer. Oh, he said, so I asked him if he shot up the club when there's blood on the walls, aka do you have sex with a girl when she's on a period? And he did say, Akil, he was like, depend on how bad I want it. Like, no, it have to be light. It got to be in the shower. He was just like, it depends on how bad I want it. Okay, then. We ain't going to say his name, but we know who he is. He know who he is. Damn. What is this, velvet? Yo, the truth, I F with you. I'm so sick of you. I'm so sick of you. What is this, velvet? I personally, I could not be in a multiple person type of relationship. So I don't know how this gonna work in life, especially like we really, as women, we share men, period, unknowingly. Like we unknowingly be sharing these men's. But I don't think me and sis could just like share him though. I don't think I'm like, hey, Shirley, this Barbara, like that's not for me. I don't want Shirley calling my phone and I ain't finna call Shirley's phone. Like that, it's not gonna work out for me. But I definitely have been thinking like there's really 6 women for every 1 man. And I'm a really dope woman. And I'm still 37 out here worried about work. Don't nobody want to be alone forever. Oh, and he came back. Yes. All right. So 7 day a week, I have 5 wives. Please tell me more about these wives. Like I have a question about how you got 5 wives though. Like they don't get jealous. What if and I kind of sort of went down the rabbit hole. I was just like, well, what if I'm out of town on a book tour, right? I'm out of town for work and my day is on Wednesday, but I come back on Thursday. Does that mean that I don't get to see or get any penis until Wednesday? I got to leave back on Saturday though. like how does that work as far as Reggie, I'm going to share it again. So those that are currently on y'all can't see it on my Facebook page. Yeah, the show is live on Facebook. Y'all should be able to see it. You should be able to see it, Reggie B. It's right above the Finally Home is a must-read step-by-step guide that will equip any first-time home buyer with the knowledge they need to feel comfortable and confident to make informed decisions. It's right there. You should see it. And so what's this Freaky Friday? Now I lost Freaky Friday. What's love got to do with this? It should be about us. It should be about trust. Did they delete it? Why can't it? I just had it. Don't judge me. How often do you have sex? With yourself or with others? It doesn't matter. I want to know both. And so we're going to wait for Abraham to come back and tell us about his wife. But Shaloa said, I can have sex 4 times a day. I'm not in a relationship right now. So AKA, shout out to the boss lady, Danielle Johnson. Hot Sauce said 1 to 2 times a week and she's single AF. What? How you do that though? I have questions. How do you get sex once or twice a week as a single woman? I don't know if she's going to answer, but I would like to have this question answered, please. Can we please talk about this? She probably ain't going to answer because that's not, she don't do phone calls. We'll probably get a text message out of her, but she ain't finna answer no call. Do 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 do.
Hello?
Hi, may I please speak to Danielle Johnson?
Good evening.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you have sex once to twice a week and you're single?
Because I have like a kind of boyfriend.
So it's a kind of boy. Hold on, I should have prefaced this with we're live.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm very single, but I am very single. But I have a healthy partner in which I engage in sexual experiences with on a regular basis. I mean, intimate moments with on a regular basis.
Girl, I'm trying to figure out how I could figure it out. Once to twice a week as a single woman.
I'm just busy and I don't got time for all the drama with the men folks and stuff, but as a woman that is sexual in needs, I have them. So I have found a partner who is equally as busy and interested in just enjoying each other's company, sometimes naked. And you know, like it's those kind of relationships are out there. If people really want them, if you don't, you know, oftentimes the emotions might get a little entangled a little bit. But if you keep your busyness will always overpower you, and your ability to have, like, you know, to want to have a title and a bond and all kinds of stuff. We're really, really great friends. We are exclusive, but you know, we just be out here getting it in every once in a while.
I got you. Well, I'm surprised you even answered the phone. I appreciate that.
Hoodwinked and bamboozled. I'm going to tell you all my business.
We appreciate it. And today is Friday, so today is Henny and Hot Sauce, isn't it? Henny and Hot Wings?
Hot Wings. We debut again for this 2020 season today at 9 o'clock on Facebook Live.
Book. Shameless plug.
Have a good night.
You too. She gonna beat me later, y'all. Y'all check on your friend later and see if I'm still here after she whooped me. And so I remember I told you about Uncle Mark and Wanda that get it in like 17 days a week. Yes, they. So Mark said about 6 or 7 times a week, all of the time. He said all of the time, Tayla. How do I? Asamoah. Did I say that? Asamoah. I am blood phobia, so I don't want to get closer when she's in her menstrual period. But there are also many ways of killing a cat. So I know how to make her happy when she fiends for sex in her menstrual period. You can't say that without finishing the whole sentence. I'm going to need for you to finish that off like you be finishing her off. Like, tell me, what are you doing exactly to make her happy while she's during her menstrual cycle? Are you wearing gloves during this time? Like, please answer all and any questions pertaining to that. Like, if you have a blood phobia and she's on her period, how are you making sure she's happy during that time? That's what I want to know. Let me pay these bills before I get knocked out for real. So we're going to come back and I want to know about this 5 wives situation. So we're going to go back and go answer that question see if he answered that question as well. And so I am Tayla Andre. Waking Up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day that we link up at about waking up your third eye with unorthodox. This is a very unorthodox conversation leading to universal consciousness. I thank you. I love you. Appreciate you. Everything Tayla Andre, TaylaAndre. Today is a suck my root chakra type of day, or ride my root chakra and suck my sacral chakra type of day. And you can get all of those merchandise on TaylaAndre.com, TaylaAndre.com.
You are now listening to Spark FM.
Paid family and medical leave is here. And if you're an employee in Massachusetts, you probably have questions. How does PFML work? When can I start using my benefits? How do I apply? Is PFML really for me? There is one place to find your answer. mass.gov/PFML. It's time to get to know paid family and medical leave. A message from the Massachusetts Department of Family and Medical Leave.
Things may seem a little bit different now, but your health remains a priority. With the Massachusetts Health Connector, you can stay happy and healthy. Whether you're employed or have recently lost your job, you have options to stay insured. Visit mahealthconnector.org to compare health insurance plans and choose the one that's right for you and your family. Open enrollment ends on January 23rd. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL. That's 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Tayla Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Tayla makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Tayla is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLAANDRE@thumbprintrealty.com.
The People Station. What is that? What is that? Spark FM.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day. We link up at about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. Today is the day that the Lord hath made. We are discussing sex because I am a whole human. And just because I have Motivational Monday doesn't mean that I ain't be freaking on Friday. And so even though I ain't been freaking in, some time, I do I like, what'd she say? We do like to enjoy each other's company, sometimes naked. So, as far as the question is concerned, it's like, how often do you have sex? And as far as how often do you have sex, do you have sex because you're in a relationship, or do you have sex randomly because you're single? And so we got some dope answers that came from some men that are in some really interesting situations. And so one of them is Abraham Bay, and said, I asked whether or not like do they get jealous? And they said, no, ma'am, they have a respect for each other and they have a mutual understanding of everything. So he is in like 5 wives type situation. And Gerald was talking about how he has 3 different women that he has sex with once a week for each one, and he has dates for each one of them, and all of them know about each other. And I don't think I don't know it. No, at all. Like, that wouldn't work for me. That would not work for me, for you to let me know that, my day is on Wednesday. We're going to make a date. We're going to have no. But I do understand and respect that some women don't want exclusivity, or some women just don't care for exclusivity, or some women don't even care about having a quote unquote partner. Just meet my needs and leave me alone. That I understand that too. I'm super busy. I have freaking 3 kids and 7 jobs. I do a lot. And so I can see the need to smash and pass. But you guys already know who I am as a human being, right? And for me, it's intellectual for me. It's mind for me. It's conversation for me. It's like, turn me up, turn me on in a conversation. And so I want to speak to the woman who doesn't care about sharing her man. That's who I want to talk to. That's who I want to speak with. I want to speak to the woman. I want to understand the mind of a woman who does not care that the man that she is with other women. because I am not considering it. But I do understand that we have 6 women for 1 man, and not all these men are good. Not all of them. And I'm not even talking about like good in bed. I mean, not all of them actually have jobs or aspirations or dreams or goals or wants to own a freaking island. Like, how many men out here actually want to own an island? Do you know the pool of men that I get to choose from? It's little to none. I want a whole castle, like a real life castle. Do you know how many men want a castle and how much work you have to put in order to obtain a castle? Love is freedom. That's what love is. Love is freedom. The freedom to do whatever you want to do. That's fine. I's not the one. Just for me, like, to thy own self be true. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know who you are. Love is freedom, and that's how I share. And that's how I can share. Okay. I respect you. I don't have to agree, but I respect you. As far as I have sex with all 5 of them at the same time. Y'all know I'm a creep, right? Can I watch? Can I just watch? That's so disrespectful. I'm not gonna write that. But I just want to watch. Like, how does this happen? Like, who's the main wife? I have questions, though. I really do have questions. Like, who is the main wife? Is there a main wife? If all 5 of them at the same time, do you nut all 5? Do you nut all 5 times? Because listen, I'm the type. Once upon a time, this is like way too much TMI, but there was this one time that I was dating this gentleman, and he would never actually have an orgasm. And that offends me. Like, that really offends me, because I feel like when men don't have orgasm, it's like, it's not really that good. Like, it's not even good enough for me to finish. I know. I want to watch. Can I watch all 5 times? I'm waiting for him to write back. Like, can I watch? But I'm not going to write that. That's so disrespectful. And I sound like a man. I sound like an all the way disrespectful man. Like, can I watch? Nah, I'm not going to ask, even though I want to. So bad. But it may, I can't even put my words to formulate a sentence, but as far as like a man that doesn't ejaculate while having sex, I need to know, as far as females are concerned, am I the only one that takes offense to that? And men, are you like, as a man, I would be offended if I'm having sex with a woman and she doesn't have an orgasm. So why would you think like, oh, why'd you take offense to it? Because you didn't have an orgasm. Because I rode you and I shot up the whole, like, there's water all over the place. What do you mean? Like, you did not, that wasn't, I'm offended. How I make her happy during her menstrual period is that we substitute for something else. I wanted you to go in details. Like, today's Freaky Friday, not Boring Tuesday. Like, I want you to, like, how do you substitute for something else if she's bleeding and she still want her rocks knocked off, like her socks knocked off? Like, how do you substitute? So as far as that is concerned, I want to know, men, usually when you typically do not have an orgasm while having sex, what is it exactly that is stopping you from orgasm? Is it you yourself that don't want to come? Is it her? Is she the problem? Like, that's the only reason that I can think that you didn't have an orgasm. If we're having sex and you didn't have an orgasm, why is the purpose? Why is the reason? Why you didn't nut? I shouldn't take offense to it. Why not? I had this dude who waited 5 years to have sex with me, and when I gave him a chance, he couldn't get hard. My first went limp. The first person, first time, first ever. Yeah. And we waited. We were like little ass kids when we met. So it was like we were best friends, and we're still friends today, actually. So we're still friends today, but we were like friends. And he was just like, it won't get hard. I was like, you are not ruining this for me. You are not ruining this for me. And we really like the first time did not work because he could not. And I would never forget that. And then like it was actually the second time that counted as the first, because the first time it was like he still calls to this day. Like, I'm like, nope, that ship has sailed. And he's 30 years grown. Hold on, but age is not, I don't think age is the problem here. I think it's different, right? So the question was, when men don't orgasm during sex versus can't get hard during sex. And so that could have been more so of like overwhelmed, like, oh my God, she's finally naked in my bed. She's finally here. We're finally together. Wow, this is real. Wake up, get up. Like that type of situation. Like he just was so enamored with you that he just, it was unbelievable to him that you were finally there. So that's different than actually being able to sit on it, actually being able to whatever, and you still can't, like, you didn't have an orgasm. Why? What stopped you from having an orgasm when you was slipping and sliding? I take it offensively. I do. And this particular individual would never, like, he would never, ever, ever have an orgasm. And I was just like, what the heck is wrong with me? And he's like, it's not about you. Then I later found out that he was a habitual masturbator. And with him habitually masturbating, it just like, it would take him forever to make himself have an orgasm. And so with a woman, it just like was non-existent. Like he couldn't even make himself orgasm because he was a habitual masturbator that just like overextended himself. And so this whole time I'm thinking I'm the problem, and the whole time he's truly the problem. Like it's really his fault because he want to play with himself all damn day, every day, at work, at home. Like it was crazy. That was just like, listen, that's not going to work for me. I'm good. AJ said, with myself, playing by myself or with others. Rena said twice a day, 6 to 7 times out of the week. Oh, that's so cute. A Taurus and a Pisces together. That's why. Because you got a freaking bomb ass combination. Sex must be amazing. Like Taurus sex is different. We can have a whole conversation about these are the signs of love making. What is your zodiac sign? Yo, Tauruses. I had sex with one male Taurus, and I swear for sweet baby Jesus, it was like having sex with myself. I was like, oh, this is what it's like. Oh, shoot. Ah! I was like, yo. I was feeling how men feel, like how men have acted in the past with me is like how I was acting. I was just like, yo, this is real life. This is how y'all get down. Yo, sex, female and male Tauruses having sex with each other, it's like a zoo. That's what. Clinton said 4 times a week, but it also depends on the mood. And that was actually another question that I had, like as far as moods are concerned, and going back to like withholding sex because of certain moods, because of certain things. And it's just like, well, you didn't do what you said you were going to do, so I'm not going to do what I said I was going to do, right? Nope. So I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you for engaging in this Freaky Friday with me. Y'all need to stop being anonymous. Don't let me snitch on myself and you don't snitch on yourself. Let's have honest and open conversations because, you know, you are a whole human. We are whole humans. Not only do you need the motivation of Mondays, but you need to understand that Freaky Friday works as well. And so regardless of your religion or your belief, like all of us are whole humans that should be engaging in all activities of life, and to have conversations about how often do you have sex, so now you understand what is going on in other people's lives and how other people conduct themselves. And a lot of times we tend to judge ourselves based on like what we think is normal and what we think is okay and what we believe other people are doing. But first and foremost, always do what is best for you. So if having sex 1,000,000 times a month is okay for you, do what is best for you. If you do not have sex at all, then do what is best for you. But having these open dialogues, and if you have any questions, you can send them to me anonymously and we can go ahead and ask the public, and you can get a feel or understanding of what other people think and believe and how they act. But this is really, truly about having open dialogue and communication about anything and everything under the sun. And so if there's anything that you want to personally discuss, hit me up, TaylaAndre.com for Tayla Andre. If you want to email me directly, that's Tayla Made Media. So Tayla Made, MADE, media at gmail.com. And let's talk about it. Whatever it is that you want to talk about, you can hit me up on any social media platform and inbox me there if that's easier for you. Whatever is whatever. And if we don't have a guest in the studio, we can definitely make that a topic. And so I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you for all of the love, all of the support. If you enjoyed any of today's show, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, because it's an exchange of energy. I give to you, you give to me, right? And you can go ahead and get Finally Home, the step-by-step guide for people preparing for first-time home ownership, written by Tayla Andre, which is in the process of being translated into Spanish. So you can go ahead and share with your Latino friends. And we are currently working on the course, and the ebook is already out. The Spanish ebook is about to be published, and the Spanish course is about to be published. And so if you know anybody that speaks, writes Haitian Creole, or anyone who writes or speaks Cape Verdean Creole, we are looking for those translations as well. And so I am Tayla Andre. Waking Up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. Spark FM Online is what you're tuned into. We are absolutely thankful and grateful to have you here. Please, again, share with your friends, share with your network, like, subscribe, and we will see you on Motivational Monday.